Well, it's a very well kent face, not only to Cruden but to the Congregational Church here. Anne, can you tell us about your early memories of Cruden?
Well, I was born in Beachview, just across from the bridge that goes to the beach, in my grandparents' house. And we had really had a lot to do with our grandparents, because my dad was in the RAF in Ireland at the time, and my sister Doreen and I was a lot with our grandparents, and we moved up to 7 New Block, and Doreen was still little then. But we used to when we moved down to 8 Harbour Street, down to the beach every day in the summertime, and just enjoying you used to think it was a bonny day every day, and I'm sure it wasn't, but you just mind on the bonny days, the sunny days, and hearing a wide in the burn and making sandcastles round by the rocks and looking for bandies, which are little fish, and crabs and things. And it was like an idyllic childhood, really, because you didn't hate to go far for your entertainment, and you was never that far away from your mother's eye, either. Should I come across the road and look and see it, you were right there. So it was good. It was good being brought up in our part of the village, because at that time it really was it was the original Port Errol down our end, until they built the houses further up the road. And at that time we used to have Sammy Mill's shop, which is now a house that was just in line with Hay Street. We had the Co-op, and we had Jesson's, and we had the post office, and Elsie Shepherd's house, and the chemist, and there was Miss Pickens had a little shop, a tea shop, I think. During the war, when the soldiers were up in the Al Hotel, they come down and had their sweeties or juice or whatever out of their shop, and they were just next door to the chemist. And up the road there was what the chip shop is now, I'm not sure of her name now, but that was another shop in the village. The village had more shops then than it has now, and that's strange. You know. It caught fire, and it was an Aberdeen holiday, because my cousin was here for the day. And when we came out of the school, this place was just full of blaze. One of the tenants, Mrs. Mathers, stays upstairs, and she had a Primus stove just under an inlay, and she was cooking on it, but she was sitting outside knitting, and she had forgotten, and the fat, it's been mac and chips, I think, had gone up, and it caught fire so very easily, and there were about at least five tenants in that place at that time. And what a shame, there were other stuff was just thrown out onto the grass.
Oh my gosh, so this was the house that you were born and brought up in?
No, I was born and brought up in Beachview across for the bridge.
That's right, you said that, Anne. Mm-hmm. So this is the house that you now live in?
Yes.
And you have lived in there how many years, Anne?
Oh, about 40.
40 years in this house. Mm-hmm. It's sorted up since then.
Well, my aunt and uncle bought it as a sort of ruin, and my uncle Alec had deep litter chickens in it, and he had a shed further up where our garden is, the washing green. He had a shed up there with brooders for bringing out chickens in. That was just a great thing for us. It was something you never ever saw before. And then when the RAF Buchan came to Bodham, they refurbished the inside of Pleasant Cottage, and they stayed in one half, and the other half was let to RAF officers. The end that we live in. And so there was quite a few tenants, they move around a bit.
What did your parents do in Cruden Bay on?
My father, Albert Rennie, was born at the Boolers of Buchan, and he was a coach painter with Sutherland's at Peterhead. And my mum was Elizabeth Nicholson, and she worked at the laundry along with the rest of the females, I think, in the village. A lot of them worked at the laundry and the railway hotel road. And my granda worked there as well. He was a marine engineer, but he worked at the boiler man at the hotel. And he drove the tram to and from the station as well. And there's a photograph of him, I think, is it Afford?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, do you remember any of their stories, Anne?
No, it's things are, you forget, you didn't think to ask.
I know.
You were too busy being young and outside and in their company all the time, you know. But no.
Do you remember seeing the hotel when it was a hotel?
Aye. And my granda was still there when they took it down.
Do you remember that when the hotel came down on, when it was demolished?
I remember hearing about it.
Hearing about it, yes. And you play a very big part in this church here. How long have you served the Congregational Church here?
Well, I wouldn't say I play a big part. We are
She
all
does.
of equals here. But I've been a deacon since 1970.
Lovely.
So that's a while.
And you're also a singer, aren't you, Anne? Beautiful singer.
Well,
She does, she sings.
say.
She's a beautiful singer. But to us, you are very much part of the Congregational Church here in Gordon, and it's nice to see that it's still carried on the tradition that is always done, Anne.
Oh, Gordon does like his job as doorman. He takes that on his head. In the morning, welcome, and nobody's coming in the door.
I know.
So they had that. But what I mean about the summertime, at the end of the salmon season, they would drag the burn, and this means they would put a net across the burn, catching, I think it came down, and into a net, and it was like their final harvest of the sea at the end of the fishing season. And I do mind in that, you used to see the cobble coming along and into the burn and putting these nets out and just catching everything that came. And that was a thing that I suppose a lot of Cruden Bay kids would have noticed, because there wasn't that. Well, Hayne said that there was about 13 of us. I walked up that road to the school, because there was the girls fae, the salmon bothy, and there was Andrew Stewart and Sheila, and Alec Corner and Rona, and ourselves, and there was a lot of bairns down in our area, but I think I'm about the only one who left Fay Harbour Street still living here. The rest are married and away, are the young folk.
Has it changed much, you think, Anne?
Yes, it has, because we used to see the fishermen stood at every opening, in the stood at Green Street and the stood at Ward Street, just standing together newsing and looking at the sea, the tide, whatever it was out there in. And you never see that now. And there used to be a shed at the bottom of Green Street, and they would gather in there, and you just heard like a mumble, and my mum would frequently say, Parliament was in session. And when they come out, they are smoked pipes, and the smoke it was coming out of the place, and they had a fire in there as well. Oh, it was just for the fishermen gathered out of the weather.
Happy days, Anne, isn't it? Happy days. So, Anne, you're flicking through your book. This is your memoirs, is it, Anne?
It is my memoir. Well, my four folk, the Earl brought them here to start the fishing in Cruden Bay, and their name was Masson. and they were the first community down on what they called Ward Hill. And they used to go down into the back burn, the burn that runs up towards the castle, and they used to do their washing down there. And it is said that the Countess Errol didn't like them hanging their washing out because she could see it on the Ward Hill. It was disturbing her viewing there. But no, and I mean, in Green Street then, there was Becky Duthie was up in the top, and next door to her was her cousin, I think, Hannah. And Hannah would hear these cats, and she would shout at me, would you come and get some crumpets to me for the baker for my catties? She used to feed them crumpets. That kind of folk are all gone now. You didn't see worthy people like they were, and it was just a different age. Here, but he was a fisherman.
This is a fisherman, and a fisherman. Mm-hmm. This is a good thing about your book, Anne, that you've got pictures. And just look, characters, Anne. So who have we got here, Anne? Who are these in the pictures?
Well, that's Wakey, but I'm not sure if that is the Robertson brothers. And he, this day, was turning in towards Street.
This was the chappie on the right here?
Wakey.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't signal or anything, and of course he had a collision with somebody else. And he said, well, abody kens that I turn in here. It was most unusual for somebody to have cars when we were growing up.
So he was the first one in Cruden Bay to have a car?
No, well, down Port Errol.
Port Errol, he was the first one in Port Errol to have a car. Gosh, Anne, look, the Congregational Church. I know what, there's not much changed, is there, Anne?
No, well, the front is as bonny as it ever was.
Isn't it?
I'm not entirely sure what that is, if it's is it a flitting or something, because it looks like...
It does look like a flitting. Mm-hmm. And that's a Mr. Taylor,
He was a carter.
And he took goods to and from the station with his horse?
Yes.
Good Lord.
Malcolm Ritchie.
Okay.
And he was a general merchant, and he had a wee shop, part of his house really, at the top of the new block. Mm-hmm. And you could go there. But there was also a little shop in Ward Street, up at the top. There was a lady called Miricky. And I mind my mum used to take us up there, and you get a sweetie there, and that was not often, but you did if you get a sweetie. And I just mind, and it was just our living room really, it was the house. And it was so quiet, there was no radios or nothing going on, and you could just hear this big clock ticking away. And it was really as far back as I can remember. I was just being little. And she would have sold cigarettes and that for a fisherman, maybe, and sweeties. What else she had, I don't know, but I do mind my mum taking me in there. And it says they sold cycles and repairs and fars even.
Fars?
And school bags and stationery.
They sell that,
Just everything.
And this is where the post office
It is
now.
the post office, aye. That's
Gosh,
right.
look at that magnificent
And
car.
he's a chauffeur.
Chauffeur. I wonder who he would have been then, Anne.
No, I don't know.
Would that have been the chauffeur to the Earls of Errol, I wonder?
Well, there wouldn't have been many others that would have had
paying a visit to the shop.
Aye.
Oh, Earls of Errol.
See the length of the clothes
I know.
that they have on as well.
My goodness, what's this, Anne, in your bookie?
Well, I remember when I was at the school, and you could hear the bikes. They would come like on the Aberdeen holiday and race on the beach.
Race on the beach?
Aye, right to the end and back. Our church was, the ground was donated by the Earl of Errol, and he paid for the building of the church. And his wife had a seat in the church just across that side, in a wee plaque saying Countess of Errol's seat in that time. Obviously it wouldn't have been the current Earls of Errol. It was at that time when, and then he built the harbour as well, the Earl of Errol.
Lots of history, isn't there, Anne?
Mm-hmm.
But
Essentially, it was like a fisherman's kirk
here.
At the beginning, right?
But it has been a salvation for a lot of people here, the Congregational Church,
yes,
isn't
it was
it?
faithfully attended when I was young.
I know. And it's still, I mean, it's still to the fore, Anne, still very much to the fore.
We still have the doors open.
I know.
Hope more will still be harvested, we would say.
Oh. But you know, it's incredible that the very history of Port Errol, and coming from the Earls of Errol, and I think it was the 18th Earl of Errol, William Harry, who built the harbour, the church here, the hall and the school. I know it's quite incredible, our history. We will have to delve into it a wee bit deeper, Anna, in another day.
Yeah.